Concern around the world from the coronavirus. The preparations leaders in Kentucky are making after a warning the disease could spread through the United States.
People out here in Clay County are having some problems with birds up on this hill. I'll have details of really what that all entails coming up.
They're just everywhere, every night, every evening.
And snow lovers, get ready because we are going to see some snow before the end of the month. I'll have more on that coming up.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 6.
Increased concern tonight as the number of coronavirus cases increases. Today, Kentucky officials took preparation steps just in case the disease starts spreading through the U.S. Here's a live look from the nation's capital tonight. President Trump is meeting with members of the CDC and is expected to hold a news conference later this hour. He's expected to lay out the response to the growing outbreak. We'll have much more on what the president has to say on the CBS Evening News tonight. Now, this all comes from a CDC health warning yesterday saying Americans should prepare for a rise in cases here in the U.S. Krista Frost talked to Kentucky's health commissioner about what the state is doing to prepare.
It was just weeks ago Kentucky had a scare. A handful of Center College students quarantined after travels to China.
Have the community know we've had just under 120 people we've monitored who had returned from travel from China.
Thankfully, all those who were monitored turned out to be healthy, but that could change soon.
You're seeing it in the other countries like Italy, South Korea, Iran. And because of that, people are now thinking that, well, this is not just contained to one country.
Today, health professionals at UK hospitals spent the day in meetings creating their plan. Baptist Health told us they hold annual drills to practice receiving a high number of patients. And as for the Lexington Fayette Health Department,
when is the recommendation made for events to be canceled or to be postponed?
They're looking at the big picture, and they're not the only ones.
Tomorrow, I believe you'll hear more from us about an update of, for the public, what it is, how you can best protect yourself, what our plans are in Kentucky if and when we would see it here.
Foundation for Healthy Kentucky says protocols for coronavirus are a lot like the flu, which is how you should treat this, washing your hands and staying home when you're sick.
But I'd tell the people of Kentucky that we are absolutely on top of this.
In Lexington, Krista Frost, WYMT Mountain News.
And Governor Beshear has scheduled a news conference for tomorrow afternoon to talk about this. Meanwhile, adoption is taking a massive hit due to travel bans. Since 1999, Americans have adopted more than 81,000 Chinese children, nearly 1,500 in 2018 alone. Here in the mountains, Bethany Thompson, a teacher in Pikeville, adopted 2 children from China. During the adoption process, she met several families who were also adopting from China. One of those families from Colorado was set to pick up their little girl on March 6th, but their adoption is now in a holding pattern.
She doesn't know when she will be able to travel. And so on top of the waiting, on top of the normal wait that you have, she now has these unanswered questions about when she will get to go.
The adoption process is lengthy. The family from Colorado has been waiting for almost a year for their baby girl. A former Floyd County pastor and his wife charged with abusing adopted children will appear in court tomorrow. A bond hearing is set in the morning. A grand jury indicted Thomas and Jennifer Stacy on assault and criminal abuse charges. Thomas is also charged with sexual abuse along with sodomy. The alleged abuse lasted for more than 10 years. An Eastern Kentucky man who led police on a 30-mile chase yesterday pleaded not guilty this morning. Daniel Bell escaped from work release in Western Kentucky on Sunday. Police found him yesterday in Floyd County and chased him into Johnson County. Bell is being held with no bond. He is scheduled for a preliminary hearing on March 2nd. It is a problem that's brought in public health officials, an agent for natural resources, and even local first responders. One area of Clay County was hit hard by birds and what they left behind. WYMT's Connor James explains.
By day, the drive up Courthouse Hill in Manchester is quiet. But by night,
and they just come in groves.
the sky is filled with swarms.
And they just circle the sky.
Almost like a scene out of a horror movie.
They would even remind you of the Alfred Hitchcock movie, Birds. I think we have more than they ever had in their movie.
Birds.
They're just everywhere, every night, every evening.
Blackbirds, more specifically, come dusk, they fill the trees.
The noise in this magnolia tree is just something terrific.
But by day, nothing as they fly off into the mountains in the early morning.
And they've been doing this all fall and winter.
And of course, while our cameras were there, they were gone for the day. But for Bobby Nolan, well, she moved to this quaint neighborhood 2 years ago.
Oh, they're just, the sky's completely black in sections.
Never had she seen anything like it before.
We did not have them last year. If we did, I didn't notice them.
Now, it's not just the noises the birds are making that people have a problem with. It's what's falling everywhere as a result of so many birds.
They mess on everybody's cars. You can wash them one day. The next morning, they're covered with bird
You get the picture.
droppings.
Barring any emergencies, Thursday evening, the ambulance service will sound their sirens in hopes of scaring them off.
I feel like there's thousands of them.
At least for now, that's their game plan to alarm those avians. In Manchester, Connor James, WYMT Mountain News.
And due to all those droppings, the county's health department is working with other local officials to try and combat any problems the birds may bring in as well.
And those rain showers are still coming down here for much of us here in the mountains. You can see that out towards Pine Mountain and US 119. You can see those raindrops hitting the camera lens there in those very slick roadways. So just be careful if you're out on the roads tonight, because we have been seeing these showers pass by over the past couple of hours. And you can see there over to the west that snow's starting to move in as well. And those temperatures are starting to drop over there along Interstate 75. You can see they're a lot colder than the rest of us. Temperatures already in the 30s, so we are going to start to see that rain transition into snow here soon, and we're going to continue to see these snow showers as we head into the overnight hours tonight and into those early morning hours on your Thursday. But then we look to dry out the rest of Thursday, but we got more snow possibly coming back in on Friday, and I'll have more details on that in just a bit. Steve?
All right, Brooke, thank you. Police in Corbin need your help identifying a truck that could lead them to stolen items. WYMT's Hannah Reynolds talked to a student whose car was recently broken into.
Samantha Jordan is turning her dreams into plans to be a dental hygienist.
I will finish at EKU this semester for what I need to go to Prestonsburg to do the dental hygienist program in the fall.
Which means her schedule is packed. Squeezing in 3 or 4 gym days each week is all she can afford. The last thing she needed was for her books to go missing.
I have a pretty boring life, so I didn't think it would ever happen to me.
But it did. Last Tuesday, after she put her bags in her car outside the gym.
And I came back out and my windows were busted out.
The gym had security cameras and caught this truck. But not before Samantha lost around $1,000 in her books, Apple Watch, ID, Social Security card, and several other items.
It's hard paying for them once. To go back and pay for it twice is hard too.
On top of that, her biggest fears are just settling in.
Going forward, it's just a fear of somebody watching me all the time. Like, they have my license, so they know where I live. And they have my planner now, so they know where I'm at all times.
So far, there are no suspects. Samantha needs all the help she can get in finding out who did this. In Corbin, Hannah Reynolds, WYMT Mountain News.
If you have any leads into who broke into that car, you should call the Corbin Police Department at 606-528-1122. A Laurel County mother is in jail after deputies say her toddler was found naked near a creek. Deputies say Rebecca Young was home with her 3-year-old son. They say she was not paying attention when her child left the home without any clothes on. A neighbor found the little boy. Young is charged with criminal abuse. US 119 in Letcher County on Pine Mountain reopened just before 2 o'clock this afternoon. Highway District 12's contractor is drilling railroad steel as part of an embankment failure, and the drilling rig broke down. Both north and southbound lanes were closed for a while and traffic was redirected. The work does continue as one lane of traffic is directed by flaggers. Officials ask that you continue to use caution when driving in that area. A new medical marijuana bill cleared a hurdle today, passing a Senate panel. Senators asked for more clinical studies. Now, this bill is not the same as the one passed in the House last week. This one is primarily pushed by those who oppose legalizing medical marijuana. They say there are too many unknowns in cannabis and the medicines in it. Adding more studies need to be done. That bill will now be move on to the full Senate. Tonight marks the third episode of Survivor Winners at War, and Whitley County's Nick Wilson is still in the game. Last week, his tribe won immunity. Danny Boatwright was sent to the edge of extinction. On the 40th season, the winner gets $2 million. Find out if Nick survives again tonight at 8 here on WYMT. It was a big night last night for McCreary County native on NBC's The Voice.
What it is that you've done to me. This is my jam. But it's caused me to act in such a crazy way. All right. Cause my heart starts beating triple time.
25-year-old Zach Day of Stearns made judges John Legend and Kelly Clarkson turn their chairs. Zach decided to join Team Legend. Now, he also appeared on American Idol a few years ago, made it to Hollywood. Zach attended Eastern Kentucky University and has performed in several productions in Central Kentucky.
And we're tracking snow showers tonight and Friday. We'll break that down for you coming up.
Plus, a Harlan County girls basketball player scores a career high just days after losing her mother.